Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Connect Share Prosper. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, Chaz Wilson. Chaz, we're talking today about networks. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I can't believe it. What?
I know. Can you believe that we're talking about networking?
Wait, you've talked about this before. Why are you talking about it again?
Because it's still true and it still is important. It still works.
It's still,
and it's required.
Yeah. And there's always ways to level up. We talked about this a couple of episodes ago, but even the consistency is what compounds results. And I think there's always ways. It'd be easy to listen to this episode and be like, oh yeah, well, I'm already doing a networking group, or I've tried networking before.
Right.
But there's always a way to level up your network. And so keep listening from that place of what else can I add? How far can I take this networking thing? Right.
Yeah. If you look at 2 episodes ago, we talked about how far can I take this? Right. So let me share this to the audience, is that networking is required. First of all, I don't even think if you're just in business, I think in life, networking is required. I think building relationships is required. Everything I have in my life of significance is because of relationships, right? And so you are required to build relationships and leveled up relationships, as you just said.
Yeah.
And listen, 2007 to 2009, I don't know how it was for you, but it was rough for me.
Yep.
I was very leveraged in real estate and mortgages and title companies and all that stuff, and it hit hard.
Yeah.
This isn't a doomsday message, but I'm going to tell you guys listening that's going to happen again. I don't know when, but that's going to happen. And guys, that is not the time to start building your network. That is not the time to go, oh crap, I wish I have 100 people that I could reach out to. Now is the time when things are good. Things feel good right now.
Yep.
Now's the time to go out to people and say, hey, let's build a connection. Let's build a relationship right now.
What are the things, so you get to see this from a real intimate view, like what are the things that people say, or the limiting beliefs where people aren't investing in networks? Why don't they?
Because it takes time, number one, right? And people are more willing to invest money than they are to their time. It's the most precious thing we have. So we don't invest the time. That's what it takes. Number 2, it's way too short-sighted. People don't look at the long term. We are so instant gratification. Like, Chris, what business could you give me today? And if you can't, I'm moving to the next, right? And that's just, I don't know. Like, to me, it's those 2 things that are the reasons why people don't. And those who have the long vision, who are committed to it. So I mentioned on a couple episodes ago that there became a point in my life I was committed to coaches and mentors.
Right.
There also became a point in my life where I committed to building my network big. And so there's no timetable. Now it is the same. How far can I take this?
Yeah. That's why I loved that episode so much, because in networking, it's going to be like, well, how long is it going to take for me to be in this group in order to get something? And I think that becomes a prison that you survive. And you'll start to find evidence of like how it's not paying off fast enough. But if you change that to how far can I take this network? I mean,
man, that might be the goal right there. You just said it. And so for everyone listening who is newer to Master Networks or newer to networking, or maybe you've even been in Master Networks for 2 or 3 years, I think that's the place we get into, right? We join and we go, if this doesn't give me so much return on investment in this amount of time, again, we talked about it 3 episodes ago, whatever it was, like that boxes you in.
Yeah.
That's a limiting belief. You remove that to say, man, how far could I take this?
Right.
Could this be more than just the chapter I'm in? Could this be national or statewide or international, or how big could I go with this?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes me want to, I want to say like, that whole, be the change you want to see thing. I think sometimes people show up to an existing group and be like, okay, well, I'm here for your thing. Like, let me experience your group. And they don't show up with a sense of ownership. And I think if you want networking to be the thing you hope it will be, then there's some level of ownership that this group is as much your group as it is whoever started the group, right?
Oh, even more than it being my group as the owner and founder of Master Network. Like, it's your network.
Yeah.
This is your economy.
Right.
And then that's the whole point, is like, as you build your network, you insulate your economy so that the economy becomes your economy. No matter what's happening out there, you've insulated yourself to some respect. And that, guys, is so, I mean, we could sit here and talk marketing strategy, and that is important. Yeah. But at the end of the day, all that marketing strategy can go out the window if you haven't insulated yourself with a network.
Yeah, right. I would say this too, for those listening that aren't currently in Master Networks, and then maybe they've been in other networking groups. So I started a Master Network chapter almost a year ago. And what I would say about that is, for me, I had been looking at, should I start my own, I had just been thinking about starting my own networking group. And I had clients around the country that could be staging points for my own national networking group. And as I was looking at Master Networks, what I realized was that all the ingredients, all the structure was there, so that I didn't have to spend time to create that. And I didn't have to create, like, listen guys, for 40, 50 bucks a month, all the support and the tools with Master Networks University, everything that's there allows you to simply focus all your energies on top grading and finding the key people you want to be in relationship, and then meet in your chapter where all the structure's already there. Like that's
and then so especially those who didn't start the group, like you started your group and you put that effort in, but sometimes people come along when there's 20, 25 people and they don't see the effort that it took to build that. So they join it and they go, okay, great. What am I going to get from this? Because when you're building it, you have to put that effort in. Yeah. And so sometimes I think people get spoiled. They come into a bigger group and they go, wow, this is awesome. Now, how do I get from this? Right. Instead going, how do I take this group to another level? And as I do, and I add more value, what happens for me along the way, and how far can I take this?
And how do people, if you're that person in the group who brings value and levels up the group, like how do people look at you in the group? Yeah. Well, and that's the stuff that insulates you, because when people look at you as a leader, when people look at you as a person who adds value, all of a sudden people want to refer you. Yeah.
We just had an internal discussion at Master Networks, and I'm like way on this topic, and I don't know if everyone else yet is there in that same belief, but like I actually think we want to create technology in our reporting system that is transparent to those other members. So for instance, if I was looking for a realtor across the country, wouldn't it be helpful if I knew that realtor attended the chapter on a regular basis? Wouldn't it be helpful to know that they pass referrals, they do face-to-face meetings? And some of the voices are like, well, I don't know if we want to share that with everyone. I'm like, no, actually, I think it's really important, because I want to know the person I'm going to refer to is an engaged person who's interested in building their network, because then I have this gauge of who I want to refer business to. Guys, these things matter. They so matter. And, 2007 to 2009, I really feel the thing that got me through it in a good way was the fact that I had focused time on building my networks. Yep.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Where they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time was like today. And so, your network is that thing that when the storm comes, you'll have deep roots for a tree. If you plant that tree today, that your network is that tree. So.
And it insulates you, because one of the things that happens too, there's not just when the market goes down, there's another side to this that I rarely talk about. And that is when you achieve massive success. Because as you achieve success, I mean, I'm sure you've seen this and people listening, but I'm getting a lot of this. Like, as you start to have success, unfortunately, there's just people that they meet you and they go, man, that guy's successful. They like, he could do that or she could do that. And then you start to get, the haters, if you will. And one of the important things about having a strong network is they also insulate you from those arrows, because people can throw those things at you, but everyone around goes, yeah, that doesn't sound like the Chris Angel I know. That doesn't sound like the Chaz Wilson I know. That's not been my experience with him. So I think maybe that's just your thing. And that starts to happen too. And trust me, as you not just have the downturns, but as you have the upturns, you're going to want that insulation as well.
Yeah, that's so good. So good. I love it. Well, so let's just wrap with this. If people want to get into a networking group, a chapter, or start their own, where do people go?
Go to masternetworks.com. There's information on how to join, how to start a chapter. If you're in an area where we haven't launched yet, we have, 40 regions still available in the country. You can, reach out to us about opportunities there. So we're still in our infancy, even though we're growing fast, to connect with people that are like-minded, who this message resonates with. If it's you, then reach out to us at masternetworks.com.
Perfect. Chaz, thanks for your time today. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Thanks, Chris. Be well.